Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on self-discoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest today is Martha Mark. And we're going to be talking about your confidence. You don't need to be perfect to be confident because somewhere, someone is listening. What does she mean by that? Well, that's what we're going to uncover today. She comes from an Asian traditional family, and she's being told and made believe that a woman should shut up and put her head down, be the sister, be the parent, be the wife of how society wants them to be. And this is how women will get the rainbow life. Balderdash, we know that now, don't we? Nevertheless, after she experienced the traditional way, she realized even having followed all the traditions and expectations from others, her life was far from a rainbow. Instead, it was filled with abuse from her 19 years of divorced marriage, being bullied as a young kid all the way to adulthood. And the hardest thing for her to admit was being sexually molested by someone she trusted at a very young age, and that her brain had shut down to the memory to protect herself. So she would say that her life was far from a rainbow, but it was still sure colorful. What changed her life is when she started to work on her career as a makeup artist and started running her own business and became well known in helping other women to feel and look beautiful. During COVID, makeup business came to a standstill. I wonder why. And she was very grateful for it at that time because it was a wonderful redirect for her. She met her current partner, and he encouraged her to take on life development studies as he told her that she was quite inspirational. She took his advice and moved forward with the idea gratefully and was featured in Yahoo Finance as some of the top 1% and Confidence in Australia. So now we're going to be talking about that confidence that took her from where she was to where she is now today. And that is something that we don't see success. We don't even understand what success is. We don't even know how to go after success unless we have the confidence in ourselves of who we are, why we are, and what we're really here to do. So welcome to the show, Martha.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah.
Absolute pleasure. And confidence is something, I don't care who you are, what your title is, or how rich you are. Confidence is something that's not the cockiness, but the confidence in being able to stand in a paper bag, if necessary, and still present yourself as an enriched and abundant person.
I believe that too, because a lot of people think that they has to be in a certain characteristic or have a certain trait to be able to have confidence. But looking at my own journey, there was more times of failure compared to success. So on my experience, I believe that confidence comes from the belief that you are good enough and
Mhm.
you are not as bad as what your mind is telling you. Because
Yes.
a lot of the time, I can guarantee you this 90% of the time is actually us telling ourselves,
Mhm.
10% of the time is other people telling us.
Yes.
Or we see other people doing something, we start comparing ourselves to it. That's how belief is actually made.
Mhm.
And I know that with our current social media, especially with our young generation, they're starting to have this comparison in their mind. If they don't have something, oh, they are a loser. They're
Yeah.
not good enough comparing to the others. And that is a sad trend to have. And as their parent or as someone that who's a more mature in the society, I think that we have the obligation to show them it doesn't matter who you are, where you are at
Mm.
this point of life. It's about having that goal and not giving up on it so quickly and so easily. And that's how you slowly build up your confidence and start being kinder to ourselves as well.
Mm.
Because a lot of us, we understand how much we trash ourselves and all those negative self talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that every single morning when we first thing we look at the mirror. We say, Jesus, look at my face. Oh my God, where's my eyes? We all been there. We all done
Yes.
that. But the truth is that we can also inject a positivity into our mind and start telling ourselves different languages. Hey, we get that compliment for free and we don't have to beg for other people to get that.
Mm,
So why not giving it to ourselves, isn't it? It's
yeah.
not as hard it is, but it is a habit. It is something that you have to work on and be conscious about it. So
Hmm.
if you need to put a sticky note on your mirror every single morning and say some affirmation to you, go for it. Make yourself feel better because no one can truly take care of you without you
Mm.
respecting and valuing yourself first.
Amen. 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 Um, you use the word comparison. I think two deadly words when it comes to self is comparison and competition. You're not in
Mm,
competition with anyone, and how dare you compare yourself to anyone? You're your own beautiful, unique person. The whole journey of your life is your own self-discovery. Who are you? What are you here to do? What's your meaningful purpose? Where's your passion, your conviction, and your exuberance of life? That is the journey in our self-discovery of who we are, not what somebody else wants us to be. And of course, you
yes.
come from a Chinese culture that dictates immediately, you know, by the sex, by the status, by the economics, by the education, everything is compartmentalized. And unless you rise up in the ranks, so to speak, you
Yes.
are only that. And they don't
Mm,
see the human aspect. They don't see the heart, soul, and spirit of a person, the essence of a person. They're so caught up in traditional and conditional, not
mm,
unconditional and conditional, that they
mm,
don't see the real abundance of the humanity that's in someone. And this whole thing has been proven not to work for us because look at where we are in society right now. We've proven our brilliance with the technology that we have out there. Look at what we can do.
yeah.
Amazing. But we're still far, far behind in our own personal self-development of accepting how absolutely awesome and flawsome we really are.
I completely agree with you on that because I keep seeing people, and I understand that during hard times, when your emotion is high, it's very hard to accept other people's knowledge. And especially, I remember the topic about self love. I remember during my low time, and I was still having a very successful business, even I was very sad. I feel rotten, I feel lonely, I feel empty. But if someone told me to have more self love, I would literally tell them to F off.
Yeah.
The reason for that is I didn't know I
Mhm,
wasn't loving myself. I was
mhm,
giving myself the most expensive item. I was going to the most luxurious holiday. Guess what? That materialistic is
mhm.
what the world told me what a good living
Yes,
is about. I
exactly.
didn't,
You will be happy when you
yeah,
put
I didn't
maximize your
know.
visa on a
Yeah.
holiday you're not enjoying.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, that understanding of what true self-love
Yeah.
is what make me transform. I
Hmm.
realize now that no matter how much money you got,
Hmm.
it doesn't buy happiness.
No.
And no matter how much sadness and emptiness you feel, if you don't take action to do something about it, it will never be done. And you will stay in that mentality. And I love sharing these three different mentality that I have about being a victim, an aggressor, and a winner. So allow me to explain a
Hmm.
little bit of this. So what it means by being in a victim mode is that we've been through trauma and we stay in trauma. A lot of the time that we like to share and we overshare only because that we are still stuck in that mindset and we crave for that recognition that yes, I'm a
Yes.
victim. I need more validation on that. And a lot of the time, I understand we're expressing and letting it go. But no, when you're in a victim mindset, you begin to get satisfaction from
Hmm.
getting other people to give you validation that you are
Exactly.
a victim.
Hmm.
So that's one of the mindset that we have to be aware of. The second mindset that we have after being victim is that having the aggressor. So it's not my fault, it is his fault, it is her fault, it is because of other people's action I become this way. So they do not take any responsibility of their own action. And a lot of the time, I understand we've been blamed for action that we doesn't actually belong to us.
Yes.
That is true. However, everything comes from two sides. Two chopsticks cannot function without both of them working together.
Can't pick
So
much
you
up
have to
without two.
understand. Yeah, exactly. So we have to understand that there is a part of responsibility that we have to
Yeah.
take, and we must forgive ourselves for taking that action before we can move forward.
Hmm.
And the last one, which is being the winner. A lot of people, when they're going through trauma and healing, the one sentence that we say a lot is called moving on. You've
Hmm.
been told so many times in your life that you should just move on. You should move on to the next thing. You should move on to the next person. Hey, don't use that word, because moving on, what is the reality of moving on? It's about you looking at your fear on the left hand side of you and trying to package all those trauma you have like a Christmas bomb that looks amazing on the outside, but they're deadly on the inside.
Yeah.
So you're dragging around, looking at your fear, trying to walk towards your future with fear
Hmm.
and willpower alone. And as we all know, willpower is very short-lived.
Yes.
Otherwise, not all of us like who say that we're going on a diet and then we fade the next week, isn't it? That's
Exactly.
what willpower is. So don't rely on willpower alone, because that's too difficult for human nature to
Yeah.
actually follow. So instead, I actually say move forward.
Mm.
Moving forward, meaning that you put all the luggage that you have behind, giving it the closure it needs, giving
Yes.
it the funeral you need.
Hmm.
Do all your incense praying, whatever
Hmm.
you needed to do to give it that closure, to tell yourself and your inner child that person who has been hurt is no longer you.
Right.
You're your current self, and you're strong enough to fight them and protect that inner child that who was being hurt. So you can move forward looking at your right hand side with excitement, hope, and the beauty of the unknown. As we all know, we have seven human needs. Some of the unknowns can be scary, but it can also be exciting when we don't move on, instead move forward.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I want to go and address every one of those. You're completely right about the victim. What happens with people who stay in victimization, kind of twofold. One, they haven't dealt with it yet. They haven't looked at it. They haven't looked at the core or release themselves from it, and that may take a different form for every, a different people. Sometimes you have to face it and just simply give that inner child a hug and some love and say, I'm with you, I hear you. I've got it, but now I release you from the pain. It never takes away what happened to you. It never condones what happened to you, but it releases the pain that's attached to it. Right. The second one was again
Aggressor.
aggressor. That aggressor, the two chopsticks, the two boots. We've got to understand twofold on that. One, if people are being aggressive to us, are we reflecting out the aggression we're putting on ourselves or the aggression that we're treating life with? Maybe we're
Mm.
so frustrated, we're so angst with life. Why can't I find happiness? I spent this and I spent that and I should be happy. And you become aggressive and then you attract aggression. And then you're
Yeah.
wondering why there's volcanic eruptions going on. So sometimes we
Yes.
have to look at what are we inviting? And are we giving them the power to have the power over us? And the
Ah,
moving
yes.
forward completely, it's like telling a depressed person, snap out of it. Uh-uh. If they could, they would, right?
Yes.
The moving forward is not ignoring the past that has got you to where you are. It's acknowledging the pain. It's acknowledging the hurt. It's saying, I release you from that pain. I hug and I love you and I empower you. Now, hand in hand, let's walk forward to a new future of our own design.
That's it. That's the even much better way of putting it together, because it is true. A lot of the times that if you can realize this, the person who hurt you are sitting there having ice cream with a
Hmm.
new person that they want and enjoying their life, while you're here crying your eyes out,
Yes.
not eating, putting yourself in depression,
Yeah.
and thinking that I wish something have changed.
Yeah.
You don't need to wish. You just need to find someone that
Yes.
who deserve you and
Mhm.
also move forward from it. and
And you know
realize
what?
that,
That person that deserves you is in the
yeah,
mirror.
exactly.
Right? You've got to love
That's
yourself
it.
before you expect anyone else to love you in your light. So stop looking for
Exactly.
someone else to validate you or someone else to
Oh,
complete you, right? You start loving yourself, respecting
yes.
and valuing yourself. Then you will find people who will match that vibration.
Oh, I completely agree with you because before I met my current partner, that was exactly my mental state. And it went through for my 19 years of marriage
Yes.
because I wasn't feeling like that I love myself. I
Hmm.
wasn't feel like that I've been loved. So I find someone else to love me and hoping that will fill up the gap, but
Yeah.
it didn't.
No.
It just ripped me apart even more and more.
Hmm.
And it made me a very, very needy person. And I didn't know it. I thought that I
Yeah.
was just being confident and also very controlling,
Hmm.
also very demanding. But I didn't know underneath all of that was that because I was lack of love. And
Yeah.
I was having so much insecurity in my life. And not until I realized that I don't need to beg for love, I can give it to myself. And I
Yes.
starting to attract different people. And that's when the time that I attract my current partner, Malcolm, he met me at my peak that I
Mm.
didn't care about any insecurity. I finally find myself back. And that confidence, it is actually there. Like,
Yes.
believe it or not, even my personal life was quite shit. My career was very successful. I was like a very successful person. I'm on stage talking to thousands of people. So I was very successful. So it tells me somewhere in there there is
Hmm.
confidence, but I just box it into a certain category that
Yeah.
that's the only time I can use it. So no,
Yes.
take that
Yes.
out and put it into your every life, every
Mm.
boxes that you have.
Mm.
And it's not about overpowering people. Be very, very careful about having confidence and honesty compared to rudeness.
Yeah.
Okay?
A
Very,
pushiness.
very careful with that. Yes,
Mm.
really need to think about will I like to be treated that way? If not, then don't do it because it's all about respect. It is all about an exchange. So when you do things with a respect, that's when true confidence shows. Not being
Exactly.
rude, not being disrespectful, but you understand where others come from, but you also have your own feel, have your boundary, have your value,
Hmm.
and you're not afraid to save it, to
Yeah.
say it.
Yes.
That's what confidence is.
I agree. I agree. And for me, when people get pushy, I shut down. Right?
Yeah.
Now, inspiration begets invitation. When you're inspirational, I want to know more. You've
Mm,
invited me through that inspiration. But
yeah.
the moment you start becoming pushy and demanding, sorry, door closed. There's nothing
Yeah.
inspirational about that, nothing invitational about that. You have an agenda, and I'm just part of that agenda instead of you wanting
Yes.
to be a part of the joy of what you're doing. And you can tell the difference between people that are doing something they love because you can feel it radiating from the heart. You can feel it in the very essence of who they are, that
Yes.
energy that comes out and they love what they're doing, as opposed to somebody that's doing something okay, but it's all about the bottom line. Right.
Yes.
Now, I don't know about
And
you, but the bottom lines, they're constantly still chasing that happiness and thinks
yeah,
the bottom line is going to fill them. When people come from a space where it's heartfelt, right, heart fueled, then they're already enriched and abundant.
yes. I hear you. I hear you 100%. And especially, I do understand there's a lot of training out there, a lot of
Mm.
training that will give you a different prospect, thinking that you must be out there, you must be seen, you must walk up like a what diva, goddess, or whatever you are in your business space, wanting yourself, wanting your branding. The truth is people can feel it when you
Yeah.
shiver it down their throat. Okay,
Yes.
it doesn't feel comfortable. I always say to attract, not chase. Shine
Yes.
as your authentic self.
Yes.
Let your authentic self comes out and people who align with you will come. And guess
Exactly.
what, on the way you will feel a few people that are scared by you, are
Yeah.
intimidated by you, and that's okay. They're just, it's not their fault. It's just that they are not at the same vibration as you. So in
Yes.
if they are vibrating differently, it's okay. Leave them, send them love and
I
support.
agree.
That's it. Move along. because you have a lot more people who's in your right
Yeah.
vibration that will just link up with you and will help you on your journey. Just like today, I'm talking with Sarah here. We connected so well in
Hmm.
our first chat together. And that's what I mean by as long as you vibrate yourself in the
Yes.
right way, you love yourself in the same way, and it vibrates very, very differently. And you those people will attract to each other and get you what you want.
And because I had this experience this week. I'm a part of this networking group that I go to, and I put out that I'm here to interview people. And this
Hmm.
woman contacted me, and it's like, I want to be interviewed. What's the process? And I said, well, we can have a chat first. We can book you in. It's your choice. And I'm the old-fashioned paper. I do it by email, back and forth. One of the reasons is that I have so many problems with trying these booking programs because they either
Yeah,
overbook or your times change. It's just too complicated and never works. So I just do it the old-fashioned way. I give you some
yeah,
dates, and
yeah,
uh, and she was getting kind of uptight with me, and I always refer to people as hun, as you heard me say that even in my writing, right? Because that's who
yeah,
I am. This is who
yeah.
you're going to get. Oh, what kind of business person are you that you use the word hun? And I
What trauma do you have if I'm
thank
before
you
from the
so
word
much for
hum?
saying, yeah, and thank you so much for not wanting to come on my show because I don't have the booking link. And it was just the universe saying to me, not the right person. And
Yeah.
the universe will speak to us, and sometimes we kind of override it. Never listen to your gut. It never lies. The universe never lies to you, right? Listen.
Mm,
And if it's telling you, maybe this is not the one, it doesn't matter even if it looks like it's a good sale or, or the connection. No, if it has you adjust being you,
mm,
compromises being you, then it's
yeah.
not the right synergy in any walk of life. And it's okay to say, not for me, thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree with you and with that. Like with some of the recordings that I have done, there was only one person that I have to say I recorded, but I don't like it. I'm not going to share it. We have
Mm.
to record it again.
Right.
And it needs to be in the time frame that I'm free. You
Yes.
can't shiver it up my throat
Yeah.
and say that I must be doing it that way. And it's like you have to understand I serve a community, okay?
Yeah.
I run a community of the girls 40 plus women's group. So there's like 12,000 people in there. I don't just serve you. I look at the bigger
Exactly.
picture and I'm
Yes.
looking at who I can help the most because we're all very limited in what we can
Mm,
do. Accept that first. We're not small, we're not useless,
no.
but we have limited resources and power to do
And
things. There's
time.
only 24 hours. Yes, only
Exactly.
24
Yeah.
hours in a day. There's only so much you can do. So you need to be smart about like arranging yourself and managing
Mm,
yourself so you don't get burnt out. Trust me, I've been through the burnout
yes.
stage because I just love. I love, I give, I'm passionate, but
Hmm.
but I forgot I'm human.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly. And
human
then all
too.
of a sudden you find yourself flattened and go, why can't I get back up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is so resonating to me because it is true. Like, I'm only human. And now that I finally realize there's triggers,
Yeah.
if they're actually coming, and I will tell the other person and say, hey, you know what? I need to postpone it for another week. I need more time on this.
Mm,
I need more of that. And the people who understand you and treat you with respect,
yes.
they will understand. If those people would say, oh, like, really? And I'm like, yeah, okay. If you don't have that compassion, I don't think you are the right people that who actually align with my community.
I
It
agree.
won't work for me.
No, and it's okay to do that because quite honest, there is no one size fits all. And
Yes.
right, and I do very, very diverse shows here. I'm very
Mhm,
diverse people from all walks of life because
mhm,
it's not just about where I'm at and sharing that. It's about where other people are at in their self-discovery that are helping people at that level. Right.
yeah.
So it's different type of people doing different type of things as long as it's coming from the heart, right? Which
Yes.
is my criteria. Do you really want to get out there and make a difference in people's lives because that's your passion? How you're doing
Yes.
it, we will explore, but as long as that's the core value of it. And I'm not going to agree with absolutely everything, and nor should I, because otherwise it just makes it rather boring. It's
Mhm,
good to be able to look at things from different angles or have something I've never seen it from that perspective before. But the common denominator is never lose yourself along the way. Be
Yeah.
like a tree where the wind can run through our branches and they can move. I'm a willow tree. So those
Mm,
branches can really dance. They're very, very flexible, but don't
mm,
take them to a point where they'll break because that doesn't
mm.
serve anybody. So we have to know our niche. We have to know our
Yeah.
market. And what we can do is put that inspiration out there
Mm,
confidently in who you are and why you're doing it and what your message is. And those that resonate with it will connect. Those that want to resonate with it but can't quite connect, well, what you've done is planted a seed in them. Either
mm.
a seed they're going to toss the spit right out again, or a seed
Yeah.
that's going to kind of root and they'll eventually get there, right? But don't compromise yourself, please.
Yes. I always say this sentence, those people who hurt you or those people who dishonor you, they are not in your same vibration,
No,
and you do not need to lower yourself to their level. You can
exactly.
maintain your dignity, you can maintain your vibration to be who you are. What other people do cannot affect you without you putting a meaning to it. Because if you
Yes.
start putting meaning to everything, you'll be exhausted. Come on, my dog didn't look at me the right way, and then I feel like so he rejected me.
Yeah.
There's so much things that our brain can tell us. So
Yeah.
when we stop taking everything as a negative turn, everything can start become more positive. And if you are in that space feeling that everyone is against me, start asking yourself this question: why do I feel that way? Why do I
Yes.
feeling what I'm in? Keep asking yourself why to find that answer, because there's something underneath there
Hmm.
that is hurting you. It isn't the dog looking at you in a bad way. It is something a lot deeper that you need to explore. And if you need help and support to guide you that process, reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out to people, because that was the one thing that I wish someone told me. I
Yeah.
thought I was an embarrassment. I thought I was the worst person in the world. I was very successful on the outside, so I
Yeah.
pretended everything
Yes.
was okay. And I didn't know I could ask for help, and I wasn't alone in this.
Yeah.
That was the big learning. So, if there's one advice I can give to all of you here today, ask. Ask
If
for
you don't
support.
ask, you don't receive, and why do I do these shows? Because somebody listening to this is going to go, I hear you, Martha. I hear you. What you're saying, you're speaking to me. I want to reach out to you because I feel you. It's hear and feel, right? Listen, learn,
Yes.
apply, hear and feel. When somebody
Mm,
sparks a feeling inside of you of resonance, then you know
yes.
that you've got the same vibration there. So, I say to
Exactly.
people who are looking for someone, listen to
Mm,
podcasts, listen to a
yes.
few of them. There's going to be somebody there you feel, oh gosh, they're talking to me. Those are the people
Yes.
you reach out to, right? You may
Mm,
listen to someone else, yeah, got some good ideas, but I don't quite connect. That's okay.
yes.
Keep listening until you find that person. Ah, I've got to speak to this person, and you'll know who it is. And then
Mm,
already your energies have exchanged because you've listened, you're coming at them with that right energy, and now you can really actually work together. That's what it's about. But do your research in the form of listening. The podcasts and TED Talks and all of these things, or going to meetings, the functions or programs that people have. You don't have to dive in as a stranger into something.
yes.
It is like these shows are one great big huge calling card, right?
Mm,
The who you are and why you're doing, and are you passionate about it? Because if you are, then people will feel passionate about your passion. And
mm,
that's the whole point of it is I didn't get the help coming because at that era there really was hardly anything around. Plus,
yes.
I was the one helping other people.
Mm,
So they think, oh, of course, you can help everyone else. You must be able to help yourself.
yeah.
All right. And while you're busy helping everyone else on the other side, you're going,
Yeah,
someone help me.
exactly. I hear you. I hear you. And the more successful you are, the more quiet that you actually have. That's the
Yes.
truth. You like look at Robert Williams. Like he's
Yes.
such a beautiful
Oh,
character, and look at what he have to go through. So I always realize that, like from my own journey, I realized that don't look at the people on the outside,
no,
look at the people on the inside. That's when you can truly help them. Keep asking yourself why, keep digging deeper, because guess what? Those present that are deadly looks amazing on the outside. But
exactly.
when you start to open it, then you realize how hurt, how painful those experiences are, and you don't have to fight it alone. There is people here who can help you.
Yes.
There is courses that you can do. There is journey you can go
Mm.
through to make that transition of you being in the low end
Yes.
to going back into your same vibration. It is a process. It's not a one day fix. A lot
No,
of
no.
people ask for, oh, how do I do that? If I tell you, you don't do it, it's exactly the same thing. Why should I waste my energy?
Exactly.
Isn't it? You have to think about it from our, like, both sides. I can
Right.
tell you how to actually build this mouse. Do you understand it? No. Then
Mm.
what's the point?
Yeah.
You have to understand, be able to accept it and learn it step by step, so you can sort of articulate it in your way, so it
Yes.
makes it an understanding for you. Because I always say that every single program that is out there works
Hmm.
when that person aligns with it.
You've
Okay,
got to
I have worked
participate,
with.
right? You've got to participate. If you don't participate in your own healing, there is no downloadable app, right? There is
Yeah.
nobody else that's going to do it for you. You've got to
Mm,
do it for yourself. You've got to
yeah.
want it for yourself.
Yeah. If you don't do what is being told, don't expect to get the same result. It's as
Yes.
simple as that. There's no courses that was like particularly made to scam you. Like, a lot of the time we understand about learning, and there's a lot of scammers around. They only scam you when you are not following their instruction, or going into a different set of mindset when you're
Yeah.
doing
When you're
something.
not listening
So
in, you're not allowing
yeah,
the gut to listen, right? You're
yeah,
just
because
listening with the head. Yeah.
that's it. And it is completely okay if it doesn't align with you. Because a lot of time I buy a program and then say, like, the first two chapter was okay, but then, oh, I didn't really understand what they're saying because I don't agree with them.
Right.
So if it's starting to detract from your morals, starting to
Mm.
detract from your
Yes.
own alliance, it's okay to say no. It's okay to get that refund. It's okay to negotiate the end. It's okay, because people change, things change,
Yes.
and your needs will change. So go and find that things will align with you, just like what Sarah said. Go and listen to a podcast,
Hmm.
go and listen to a show, that so you can find that person to align with you during the time of your need. We all
Yes.
have different time frame. We all have different time brackets. It's only when our time is right we will start getting our
Hmm.
head out of our ass.
Yes, absolutely. There's actually a show I'm going to recommend, which is Jay Shetty and Trevor
Oh
Noah.
yes, yes, I love
And
Jay
that
Shetty.
is such a good interview. And Trevor Noah, I'm a huge fan of. I
Yeah.
admire him so much because he has such a wonderful way of being able to see both sides. He's such
Yes.
an equilibrium guy, but his own honesty will talk
Mm,
about his
yes.
struggles to be happy, his struggles to feel worthy. And it doesn't
Mm,
matter what he's articulating or how
yes.
popular he is or how good he is. He has his demons on the inside that he's constantly fighting. And, I
Yeah.
call that 10%, which very often
Yeah.
wants to have more percentage. We've all got
Mm,
a 10%. And I've been
yes.
going for it for the last couple of weeks. I think it's because a lot on my plate and probably a lot to do with SADS, the weather,
Yeah.
right? The seasonal weather. And it
Yeah.
throws me into a bit of a flunk. And the thing is
Mm,
recognizing it and the what can you do about it?
yes.
Knowing your triggers, knowing that 10%, if you do not pay attention to it, nurture it, to give it the time and love and everything that it needs, it will suddenly be 20% and
Yeah.
30% and start consuming you. We've all
Mm,
got a 10%. It doesn't matter what's happened to us or how we've dealt with it. Every now and
mm,
again, a feeling will come flooding back, or an
yeah.
insecurity or something that triggers us. Deal
Yeah.
with it. What do
Yeah.
you need to do to nurture yourself in a way that you feel safe to get back into your 90% and be able to stay there?
I completely agree with you on that. You said it so well. It is so true that, like, I think everyone can do something for themselves and start writing down
Hmm.
what triggers you. What is your level of acceptance? It's a lot of the time that we say we don't know, but we do know. There's something in our mind that we set, we have a barrier, we have a limit of how much we can. So by having that clarity of how much you can accept and what you are not willing to accept on, it gives you that support of knowing that, hey, This is my boundary. This is what I'm doing. I must follow my own guide. And how many times of us not listening to
Yes,
ourselves, not
yes,
listening to our boundary, that we got into a very difficult situation. So we
exactly.
understand
Too many times, far too
it.
many, because we didn't listen in.
Yeah,
The interesting thing especially when you've stepped up into a different vibration and you've chosen to do the work and invest in yourself
yeah,
and learn to love yourself. People think that, that you're here now and that you're
yeah,
happy and jolly and kumbaya all the time. And it's like, no,
yeah.
you still have those feelings. It's just you know how to deal with them now. You know what to
Mm,
do with them. And I wrote my own memoir last year, and my brother did some editing for me. And he said, my God, there's a lot of sadness and loneliness through this book. And of
yeah,
course, he saw my life from his big brother perspective,
yes.
right? He didn't see it from mine. And seeing my life from my perspective, and he saw that. And it doesn't matter how many people I've ever had around me, was
Mhm.
always feeling alone in the crowd, right?
Yes.
And we've got to actually understand there is something that is us, whether we're introverted or extroverted, or there
Mhm.
is something that we don't feel quite connected to, or there's something that we carry with us. And we've got to
Yes.
understand that maybe that is an experience we've had, a trauma we've had, or maybe it's just our persona. And to
Yes.
recognize it and don't beat yourself up because that's the way you feel. But when you feel it's kind of coming on too strong, wanting more than 10%, then that's the time to kind of have a sit down and conversation with it and give it some
Mm,
nurturing, because there is always going to be some idiosyncrasies of ourselves that we carry with us that we're not meant to get rid of. They're a part
mm,
of who we are, but we've
mm.
also got to keep them in check.
Yeah, I think we have to understand that we can't get rid of an experience
No.
or things that happen to us, but we can take away the emotion that is actually
Yes. The
attached to that,
pain.
the
Hmm.
pain that
Hmm.
go along with it. It's like a lot of people who are going through divorce or going through a
Yeah.
breakup. We have moments that we keep thinking about that person. We think about why and what they actually make us feel good at that moment.
Hmm.
So I always say to people who are going through this sort of tough emotional breakdown, I tell them that you have to understand what you're missing is not that person. Not that
Yes.
person who hurts you like hell, not
Yes.
that person who
Yes.
disrespects you or dishonor you. You're missing the feeling of yourself when you're with that person. So find something to replace that feeling. Either it will be going out with someone else or going out with your girlfriend or doing something that will get that excitement back. A lot of the times you have to understand our body doesn't know the differences.
No.
It can feel the vibration like excitement and fear. They're exactly the same vibration compared in our body. But we can actually tune it to a way that is exciting rather
Yes.
than having fear. Like how many of us say that, oh, this is so exciting, but I'm scared at the same time
Yeah.
too, but I still going to do it.
Yeah.
It's because the percentage of the feeling that we're giving away is a lot bigger compared to the fear that it is.
Yeah.
So it's easier to come along. So a lot of us who went for a traumatic experience or have something that we don't like to talk about in the behind, remember this, we're not asking you to forget about
No.
your past. We're not asking you to completely cut it off your life like my bling this that literally take it out. That was trauma.
Hmm.
And what is the best way to do is to actually settle that pain, the
Mm.
cause that caused you in that mental state, and realize that person can no longer hurt you. And
Exactly.
realize that you are no longer that little girl inside, that
Hmm.
your inner child is now protected and looked after. And this is something that I learned during my self-development journey, that I went through hypnotherapy and a lot of anxiety treatment, depression treatment. And I still remember the day I walked in, all my marks was like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It's like, wow, you're quite severe. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel good. I really
Right.
don't feel good. But at the same time, I still have to move a house. I
Hmm.
still have to pack up my new things. I still have to do all of this. So as a woman, especially as a tough woman, we face a lot, and
Yes.
we do try to pretend that things are okay. But it is that moment that I reach out for help and the universe guide me to a way that one of the big excuse that we get is I can't afford it.
Yes.
At that moment, I can tell you, I was really poor. My ex-husband took almost everything off me.
Hmm.
I was so depressed that I couldn't even pack my own house. And then I don't know where to get for help because I couldn't tell my parents, I couldn't tell my brothers. I don't know what to do. I don't have a lot of friends. So all of that made me think that I was alone. But then guess what? As soon as that I realized I needed help, the universe guided me in the right
Yes.
way. I find someone that who can come and pack my house. Her whole family come and help me. We become really good friends. And then when I was looking for someone, and one of my dear friend that I met, and he referred me to his therapist, and he was only charging me what $50 per session, which is something that I can still afford at that moment. So even finances and things like that, I understand your trauma, I understand what you're going through,
Hmm.
but there is a way, there is people that who are willing to help you, like the podcast that you can
Yes.
listen to. They're for
Yes.
free. Like
Yes.
there's like workbooks and
Yeah.
free ebooks that you can follow the step. So stop telling yourself you can't and
Hmm.
start asking yourself, what can I do? And if you
Yeah.
don't know, ask. That's
And
all
if
you
you
have to
don't
do.
ask, you don't know. And
Exactly.
the thing about moving forward
Mm,
is at some point you'll come to a crossroads or a pause, traffic
mm,
jam, whatever.
mm.
And it's like, frustration. I'm not moving as forward as I'd like to. And no, you're meant to
Yeah.
pause at that moment. Turn around and
Mm,
look behind you. My God,
yeah.
look how far I've come.
Yeah.
Look how far I've come and who I am and what I'm doing in my own empowerment. And if I
Mm,
can come this far in this amount of time,
mm,
what is waiting for me with this new refound energy and love of self?
mm.
And then you will find that that next part of the journey will just grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And, two
Yes.
things about fear. I look at fear and failure in a different way. There's the common
Mm,
sense fear. Don't walk in front of
mm,
a bus, right? It's
mm.
going to flatten you. Don't put your hand in fire.
Yes.
You're going to burn yourself. There's the common
Yeah.
sense fear. But the
Mm,
fear of the unknown and is not instead of looking at it as fear of the unknown, look at it as an excitement of the unknown, of the
yes.
discovery of what is to be revealed.
Yes.
And when you go with it with the open eyes and open heart and open wonderment, you're then going to actually see the juicy and wonderful things that are lying before you. But if you're looking at
Yes.
oh with fear and Debbie don't like this, you're
Yeah.
going to see every demon jump out of the bush because that
It
you've put
is.
yourself in that state. The other thing about failure,
Mm,
failure to me, if you have fallen on your backside a trillion times, that's not failure as long as you've
mm.
got back up. Even if you've
Yes.
got back up with wobbly legs. For me, failure is when you totally give up and you totally give in, or you blame everybody else and you're unwilling to do anything for yourself. But falling on your backside, all you're doing is learning how to get back up, just like a toddler. How many times
Yeah.
do they fall before they learn actually how to find that balance and walk forward? Right?
Mm,
So look at life always as a lesson, as it even
mm,
the most negative of things have taught you something. And maybe it's just your courage, your strength.
mm.
I didn't know I had this ability. I didn't know
Yes.
I could look at things that way. And all
Yeah.
this beautiful discovery of yourself, step by step
Mm,
by step by step, you turn around and look at that person that used to be so fearful, who
mm,
gave themselves over to this other person for them
mm.
to abuse. It's like, no, no longer. I stand tall in my own life and my own person for myself, and you can take me or leave me, and that's okay.
That is so true. I remember one of the therapists that I went to, he shared with me a sentence that I really value. A lot of the times that when we are not in the right mindset, we're starting to see things with holding a hand, like holding a key of sadness.
Yes.
It's like every single thing that we open is sad. My cat looked at me differently. My dog didn't actually come and pet me. All of those things, it could be so little, but because we are holding a key
Mm,
of sadness, we keep opening more doors of sadness.
yes.
So whenever I started to feel myself going down the hill, I started to say and very consciously say to myself, Martha, you need to hold on to that key of happiness.
Yes.
So every single door that you open will be better. So I started
Hmm.
to look at my dog walking another way. Great, I don't have to pet him. Less hair on my body. My cat is not coming to me when I actually call her. It's okay. I got more time to work on my computer instead of trying to push her bum away. So all of those things have two sides.
Yes.
I have two sides. As
Exactly.
long as I hold the key of happiness, it gives me a lot more power and control
Yeah.
back into my life. And okay, I admit I'm a workaholic and I'm a very business-minded person. So that aligns with me a lot because I
Mm.
like control. Okay, being a leader, that's what happens. So we like that control. So that thinking aligns with me. So whatever you are listening to right now, whatever that we're giving you can align with you, grab it,
Yeah.
learn it, and adapt it to your own life because everyone have different thing. When I tell people I'm an introvert, no one believe me.
Yeah.
They
Yep. No,
always
me
say, "Oh
too.
my God, like
Yeah.
like you really you can speak." I'm like, "Yeah, but doesn't mean I want to. I do
Exactly.
it because I love people and I want people to know."
Mm.
It's like my life have given me every single opportunity to hate,
Yes.
to hold a grudge, and to do things that to harm myself, but I didn't. And
Mm-hmm.
it only because of one reason. Not that I'm a saint, not
Mm-hmm.
that I like, I'm anyone better than anyone else. I only have this one thing in my mind that I do not want any other person to experience what I go through without help. So
Exactly.
that's the reason why I'm doing what I do.
Yeah.
It's not about anything else, and everything else will come after, like your
Yeah.
fame, your money, your things like that. I know we need that to actually survive. But believe me when I say, when you're so passionate about what you do, opportunity will come. It's all about
Absolutely.
how you're going to take it at the end.
Right. What we're trying to do is have people avoid the Grand Canyon. You know,
Hmm.
you're going to get potholes, right?
Mm.
But we want you to avoid the Grand Canyon because it's hard to get out of there, you know,
Yeah,
when you fall in that. But take the advice of people. And I say
mm,
the best teachers are those that have gone through it
yeah,
because you understand. You
yeah,
understand the pushback. You understand I haven't got the energy or the strength or the
yeah,
despair. I mean, despair is one of the worst things because
yes,
it is so crippling. All right.
mm,
And you can't ask people, you can't give common sense things to people who are in despair because despair is
yeah,
so consuming. At that
yes,
time, what they need is love, loving
yes,
attention, hold their arm, give them a hug, you know,
yes,
just be there for them. Let them go through that despair and you're there for them all the time. They don't need a
yeah,
lecture and they don't need to be, well,
hmm,
you've just got to do this because it's
yeah,
piss off. You know,
yeah,
you completely.
exactly.
You're in despair. Despair has no reasoning, no rational, no logic.
Yeah.
It's just a
No.
feeling. Help me through it with your loving energy. And then as
Yeah.
somebody comes out and you go, okay, what's the first step we're going to go and do? Let's go
Yeah.
for a walk in nature. Let's go somewhere where the
Mm.
vibration is consistent and nature is, well,
Yes.
unless nature's pissed off.
Yeah.
Well, Mama Nature gets really mad at us sometimes. But you know, those beautiful days, get out there, even in the rain, right? And be grateful for the fact that we do have this beautiful earth. And I think that's a
Yes.
great way of getting out of despair is being grateful for what we do have. Because when you're
Ah,
in despair,
yes.
all you can do is feel what you don't have.
Yeah. There's an activity that I started doing during my time of recovery is that name the three things that I'm grateful for today.
Mm,
It could be as simple as my cat come and give me a kiss. It could be
yes.
as simple as, oh, I had a coffee. I didn't miss my bus. All that kind of little thing, the more you realize that, hey,
Mm,
you know what? I'm not as bad as what I've been telling myself.
hmm.
It's helped you to realize everything that is not as bad as how we think. Like
Yeah.
my partner see me using gratitude all the time and he's like, oh, you're always so grateful for it. He was going for a very tough time at that time. And me being grateful and being in a higher vibration actually helped him to
Hmm.
realize that, hey, you know what? Life is not as bad. And it took him a while, like honestly, for a whole year. He was like a dark hole that sucks out every single energy around him. And being a very high vibration person, even I feel the drain as well.
Mm,
So there will be time that I know that I need to stop and actually
yes.
give him the space. I always say to people is that when people are in high emotion, all they want is just a hug.
Yes.
Shut up and
Hmm.
truly listen.
Yes.
Don't say anything, just give them a heart. Like I do that a lot on my social media page. There's so many people in high emotion, and
Hmm.
I was one of them. I post something out in high emotion. Guess what? My words are not even making sense. Okay, I'm Chinese, even worse. So no one can understand what I was saying. It's like, what you were really saying? It's like, oh, now that I look back at it, oh, yeah, I really don't know what I was saying because we're in such a high emotion. and I give this like a warning or a title in my group to let people know if you can see other people in high emotion, give them that space and just give them a hug.
Yeah.
I know it's very hard to do because we all want to do more to help,
Yes.
but they're not in there, not in once they're
They're
out
not in
of
the right
despair, like
state
you
of
just
being.
said.
You know,
Yeah,
they're what we call the Twitter rant, which we
yeah,
know certain person that loves to do that,
yeah.
and you know it's gobbledygook going out there,
Mm,
and because you know when you're in that heightened state,
mm,
just hysteria has set in,
yeah, yeah,
and what regurgitates out when you look at it afterwards and go, I said what? You know,
yeah.
when you've calmed down. So that this is not the time. This is why you say if you're mad at
Mm,
somebody, or even
mm.
mad at yourself, this is the time to stay away from social media.
That's it.
And you know, I say that if you're having an argument with someone or a spouse or anybody,
Mm,
walk away. But if you feel that you need to get it out, write it out. Write
yes.
it out,
And burn
read
it.
it. No, no, write it out, read it out, then rewrite it
Ah,
until you have
okay.
got your point across of what you're trying to say without the angst, without the blame, without the shame. And now you can
Mm,
say, to your partner, would you please read this, digest it, and when you're ready, now we can have a rational conversation about it. But you can never have a conversation while you're in that state of being. But
I
sometimes
agree.
we don't know what's upset us. So this is why
Yes.
either take a recorder and
Mm,
speak it out or write it out, but you have
mm,
to listen back. Because if you
yes.
doesn't don't
I
listen
agree.
back, you actually are missing what's going on. When you
Yeah.
listen back and you go, oh, okay, or oh gosh, I'm so glad I didn't actually say that to him, you know. And then it becomes something you are
Ah,
mirroring back how you feel, and now you can actually pay attention to how you feel and start doing something about it. So we do
yeah.
have to acknowledge where we're at by
Mm,
listening to ourselves or reading what we're doing. But if we're
yeah.
going to actually say it to someone or give some written word to someone, that's where we filter.
Yeah, that's just so true. I caught myself so many times make that mistake very a lot, and then I realized that you know what, I can send an email to myself, say whatever I wanted to say,
Yeah.
and then read it, and then do all of that because it is so true that when we're in high emotion, we
Yeah.
don't really know what we're doing. So when you realize that, that is a very good point. That's step one, is to realize that you are at that state.
Yes.
You're not at where you think you are, being very confident and cocky and writing
Yeah.
all of that out. You're not. So when you have the time to actually calm down, like I read it somewhere that you should actually look back in 3 hours and see how
Hmm.
you go,
Yes.
because your
Not in the
emotion will
moment.
take you down.
No.
Not in the moment, it
Go
won't
and calm
work.
down.
Definitely. So it is a very good learning to. I've been called a train, like that doesn't stop, that one full one full red
Yeah.
lights all the time. So I have to
The bullet
learn to
train.
slow. Yeah, exactly. I really learn to slow down, and I appreciate that person for telling me because I
Mm.
didn't know. I thought that, oh, I need to be faster so other people doesn't get left behind. Oh, I need to be faster so I won't affect other people, because that's my people pleasing thinking,
Yes, yes,
that
yes.
I need to do it so other people don't do a certain thing. But I didn't realize, hey, you know what? As long as I'm in my lane, I'm doing my own thing, other people can catch me up.
Or even overtake you.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, because like honestly, when I was first driving, I feel so scared that someone's behind me.
Mm.
Because I'm like, oh, am I driving correctly? Am I like too slow, or am I too fast? I get that pressure from the
Mm.
person that is just behind me. So understand that as long as you stay in your own lane, just like what Sarah said,
Mhm.
people will go past you if they need to.
If they
They
need
will
to.
go through the
Yeah.
It's fine.
I used
It's
to be
fine.
the hare. You know,
Yeah.
I would see something, I've got the entire vision, let's do
Mm,
it
yeah.
now, you know,
Yeah.
because I was not the person of the strategist of build it. I was just, let's
Yeah.
move people in now,
Yeah.
right? And then I realized through, you know, through the hard knocks of life and through age
Yeah.
and through life experience, I really enjoy being the tortoise because by
Yeah.
being the tortoise, I'll get there eventually when I'm meant
Mm,
to get there. But the finish line is my death, as far as I'm concerned. And
yeah.
along the way, I am gathering. I am meeting people. I am
Mm,
gathering people. It's becoming something where I'm learning to appreciate what's around me. And there are
mm,
times where yeah, I need to speed up a little bit because I've got a
mm.
deadline. And there's other times where
Yeah.
it's okay to slow
Yeah.
down because you know, when you do have a deadline and you try and put the foot to the pedal, that's when you make mistakes. So
mm,
actually, that's when you do have to slow down and be more methodical and focused rather than
exactly.
fast.
Yes, that's one very good lesson that I have learned in life that I have to slow down. Okay, I'm called the queen of speed. Okay, in my
It's
work, I'm used to be working fast, but I realized that when I
also a lot to
slow
do with your
down,
culture,
it
right?
is.
Yes.
It is. I'm from Hong Kong, so we're very
Mm-hmm.
efficient
Mm-hmm.
people. So think about it that way. When you slow down, people actually understand you better. When you
Yes.
slow down, people actually see what your intention is. And that helped me greatly in my life and in my work. I remember when the first few episodes of recording that I did, I listened back to it. My God, I was speaking like a train. No one could understand what I was talking about. And especially I have trouble pronunciating a certain word anyway. So now I have learned to speak slower, to
Yes.
speak personally, and
Yes.
people can understand me a lot better.
Exactly.
Isn't that my purpose? Think about it.
Exactly. It's
All
not how
this
fast
work,
you say it.
yeah, my
Yeah.
purpose is to help people and make people understand. So if I'm keep doing it my way and not listening to feedbacks, I will never get where I want. So remember, constructive criticism
Yes.
are there to help you.
Yes.
People who are bitter and telling you things, those ones are not supposed to be in your
They're
circle.
they're
And you
they're
can get them out.
critical, not
Yeah,
critique. Right. There's a
yes,
difference. When
exactly.
people give you critique, it's
Yeah,
for you to make things better. When people become critical,
yeah.
then I haven't got your best interests at heart.
I hear you. And it come up to be this sentence that I will treasure my life. Hate come from fear
Mm,
and judgment come from insecurity. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
anytime that I see people doing that, I realize that, hey, you know what? When they're criticizing me, they're not giving me constructive feedback. They're only talking about their fear because
Yeah.
that's what they've been told that they were hurt by that. That's why they literally switch on as soon as they see that. So I
Mm.
can see that that's just their insecurity. And it doesn't have to be mine.
Yeah,
My
that's where,
insecurity
going
can
back to
be
being able to say no, thank you, and
yeah.
I used to, I'm a recovering people's person. It would be,
Yeah.
how big a pretzel can I bend myself in to please you? And
Yeah,
like my back is
exactly.
breaking in half, and it's like, no, if I can't do it, or it's taking more from me, or it's simply of not of my interest, it's a
Mm,
thank you very much for thinking of you. No, and
yes.
if
That's it.
if I do get um anything back. I've had a negative from somebody I interviewed,
Mm,
and I pre-interviewed her, and I interviewed, and she'd heard me talk. So it's not like we went into it blind. We did
yeah,
the show, and I thought she said everything was fine. And
yeah,
then she didn't like the picture that came out because, YouTube only gives you a couple of
yeah,
pictures, and you don't
yeah,
always have control over that.
yeah.
And she started using some really negative words. And
Mm,
I said, okay, I've just changed it to the banner picture. So that's the
mm,
picture that will be shown. And then it was more and more negative. And I said, well, I'm so sorry. I can take it down. No, no, you don't need to take it down.
yeah.
And I thought, okay, then I will leave it up and it will go to the audience that are interested in it. And then she carried
Mm,
on. So I just said, I wish you well. Goodbye. Now, when you get
yeah,
not ciao or cheers from me and you get
yeah.
goodbye, that's my full stop. And
Yes.
more came to me and I completely ignored it because at
Yeah.
some point you've just got to go, enough. I've
Yes.
tried to please you. I've tried to,
Mm,
bend a bit, but
mm,
but if it's the ranting going back and forth for you
mm,
to feel better about yourself,
yeah.
no, wish
Mm,
you well. Wish you
mm,
well. Goodbye. I mean, it's okay to do that because, especially in business, you've got people that will
mm,
practice business this way, people will practice business that way. As I said, I call people
mm,
hun. I don't care who you are,
mm,
and
mm.
whether we're in business or not. And it's
Yeah.
it's who I am. And if you start getting dictatorial and
Mm,
inflexible, that isn't
mm,
about the person you're talking to. It's
yeah.
about who you are. And
Mm-hmm.
understand, if you have that inflexibility and you
Mm.
become dictatorial towards people, you're letting people know that you're not confident, you are insecure, and you aren't truly being yourself.
I'm into that. That's exactly why the reason we need to do this sort of podcast for people to listen to and realize that, hey, there's a difference. There's
Yes,
actually a difference.
there is. There is. Now I'm going to throw something out completely different. It's Gong Hei Fat Choi or something Falok, right?
Thank you.
It's Chinese New Year, and we're actually
Yes,
in the year of the dragon.
yes.
My daughter's a dragon. I love Dragon Year.
Oh, lovely.
And we're also in numerology eight, which is eight, of course, in Chinese number is prosperity as well, right? And productivity. But it's also about very often the elements of life around you are going to say maybe more of a challenging year. Now, you can't go against whatever the synchronicity and the elements are around you. And okay, it's going to be a challenging year. Instead of moaning and groaning about it, how can I prepare myself for that challenge? And then you get a
Yes.
year like the dragon year, which is authority, but also progress and a really a self-assuredness. And you've got the number eight that's backing it up as well.
Yep.
And we're very much in a year where we are desperate for change. We so want change and we're more ready, to plant those seeds or, to have that harvest. Is that in our own personal growth? Yes, it's about you, what's going on inside of you, but it's also going on in the elements and everything that's happening around you as well, isn't it?
Mm. Yes, it is. It is. I think we are finally getting out of the feeling of being solo and stuck and
Yes.
isolated.
Yes.
And I think last year was a transition year. That's how I
Hmm.
felt.
Yes.
And this year is a new start. So we can have that energy to really explore and expand. And when you're ready, when your mindset is ready, the universe will bring you the thing. Just like
Yes.
it brought me the amazing group that I'm in at the moment, that
Hmm.
I can have this support to other people, because that's always been my alignment. I love helping people. I love making people feel beautiful, but I know that I can make people feel beautiful from the inside as well,
Yes.
not just on the outside.
Mhm.
So using that calling, and I've been giving it out, giving it out during COVID, a bit hard, and it didn't hit me properly until it was almost gone. And then it
Hmm.
hit me, wow, how isolated I am,
Yeah.
how this and that. And then it sort of affected my mindset as well. So it takes time for us to get back. And then
Hmm.
very gratefully within the last few months that we're running this new community that we're doing. And we've been doing really well. And it's
Hmm.
excellent. And it's just like the universe is telling you when your time is right, it is right.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
believe in it and follow the calling. And am I
Exactly.
saying that I'm doing everything perfectly? No. But guess what? What I've been learning in the last 4 years have helped me to become
Yeah.
who I am now. So
Exactly.
anytime I have an opportunity, I started to be able to reply it very quickly and adapt very, very quickly. And that's the difference. That's the big difference.
Yes.
Because if you are preparing yourself for the right
Hmm.
moment, all the thing that you are learning, all the podcasts you're listening, they're all something that is prepping you. It's like a
Yes.
library that you're keeping it for yourself so
Hmm.
you can use it at the right moment. And I've been telling people, my God, I didn't know that I have all this knowledge
Mm.
inside of me because I wasn't in the right mindset. Now that I'm in
Right.
the right mindset, I'm pushing it out. I'm getting everything done. Everything is in structure. I'm like, yay, finally, everything that I learned is coming into place. You've got to be patient in life.
Yeah.
You've got to, because a lot of the things is out of our control. But as long as you don't give up, because giving up is like shutting the door, saying goodbye,
Yeah.
none of the good things will come in. You have to say, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to take a break, but I'm going to come back. This is my
Patience and
return date.
persistence.
Yes, set a return date. It's
Yeah.
like a reminder for yourself, when
Mm.
do you need to come back, and set a limit to do. Like during my time that was really tough, I always say I need to do one thing. I need to do that one thing. If I don't do it, that's when my mind will not be in a good place.
Hmm.
So I said this is the minimum thing that I have to do. And then if I do it, I feel a lot better. So
Yeah.
every single day you add a little bit more into it to help yourself get back into the right shape.
Synchronicity.
Yes.
I've got this Our Forgotten Children book coming out with 15 of us authors in there around changes needed in raising our children. And I
Oh.
wanted to do this book about 5 years ago, and it would be, and I'd be doing all these interviews around children. I have a channel called Our Gifted Children, and then I also have one Our Forgotten Children series. And and it was like, I really want this to be in a book. We needed this conversation to go out further. And then last year was, it's happening. And then I reached out to all the people I'd interviewed, and had either retired or something had happened, and only one of them could do it. But
Mm,
at that time, all my podcasts, I started interviewing people where you're perfect for the book. You're perfect for
mm,
the book. So I ended up
mm,
with 14 other people, myself is in the book,
mm.
14 other people. And believe me, we could have done more. There's going to be a couple more
Yeah.
books on this as well, because the timing was right. Everybody,
Yes.
the experiences that they had had, that synchronicity of us all being on the same page,
Yes.
and with me presenting what I
Mm,
wanted to do immediately, yes, I see it. I want to
yeah.
be a part of it. And the
Mm,
timing was right. And that's the thing is, don't give up. I've had what I want to do with the podcast, which of course is the books and educational platform, and I've got the mentorship
yes.
directory. All of that was given to me 6 years ago. And I
Yeah.
put it together in a graphic as my template.
Yeah.
And then I kept doing my podcasts with, investigation. Is it with this
Yeah.
person? Is it with that person? Is it this way? Dip my feet in the water. Nope,
Mm,
I'm either going to drown there or, we're going to have a drought. So that's not the right person. And then keep on going because I believed in what I knew I needed to do. But I had to
mm.
wait for the time and I had to wait for the people. And that's the thing is just because it didn't happen straight away doesn't mean it's wrong. If you
Yes.
believe in it and you keep nurturing it and putting it out there, the universe gets the message and it will bring you the right people at the right time.
I agree with you.
It's exciting that, isn't it, when things start coming together, like you with this group.
Definitely.
It's we have created a village now, and I say the village is only as strong as everybody's participation. It's there in the
Exactly.
good days and the bad days, and that village is going to celebrate or mourn. It's going to be there to support one another because that's what makes the strength of the village. And
Exactly.
when you have these kind of communities, and it's in our nature, especially as women, to support other women when they have a triumph,
Yes.
right? It's to get behind other women. And the
Yes.
more and more we do that, and the more and more we raise women up in each and everything that they're doing, the higher
Yeah.
we're turning that frequency out there, the higher that vibration is going, but the more invitational we become to other young women or other
Yes.
women in transition, that there is a platform for them, there is a safe place for them, that
Yes.
even if they're in discovery and they don't know who or what they are or where they're going right now, they can be a
Mm,
part of this inspiration because there's other people who've been where they are and are
yes.
there to help them on the journey now.
Mm, yes. I hear you. I hear you. It's when your time comes, you will know. And
Yes,
all you have to do is prepare for it so
yes,
you can be ready to take it to the max.
yes,
Opportunity are safe for people who are prepared. So
yes,
be that prepared person. And when the right time comes, you'll shine.
yes, exactly. And you know when it's the right time because you feel
It
it.
is. It
You
is. It
you
is.
feel it.
It
You
is.
just know it. You
Oh,
don't need to verify, validate. Why are you doing this now? It's just right. It's just
it
right.
is.
Who are you now? I just am.
Yeah.
Is this the thing it should be? It just is. When you
It
get
is.
there, that there is no other explanation other than it's just right, right? And
I
that's
hear
where
you.
we want to get to.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we want to all get to.
Yeah.
And we have to believe that that is coming. Like
Yes.
my partner always say that, oh, like, you're worrying about like, money, finances, and things like that. I'm like, guess what? It will come. It will come. It's like, how do you always think about like that? I said,
Yeah.
because I believe
Yes.
because I believe it will come.
Yes.
And then it always come. It's like I talk to my like no spiritual mentor, and then I ask my highest divine power and said that, oh, like I'm not worrying about this or that. And then my higher power will say to me, when does that ever not been solved? And I
Yeah.
just smile at myself and say, yeah, every single time
Yeah.
someone is going to look after me.
Right.
So
It's
that's
that
all you have
core
to believe.
thing, isn't it? That
It
that
is.
core there. And it's like I get shooted on all the time
Yeah.
because I don't kind of charge big dollars for to be on my show. I just have a donation, generally starts
Yeah.
around 35 to
Yes.
cover the expenses. But
Yes,
and I don't
definitely.
charge people to listen. They can donate if they
Yeah.
wish. But
Mm,
I get people say you're not running it as a business,
yeah.
and you can't be successful if you're not in the six figures. I said that's
Yeah.
not my idea of success.
Yes,
As long as I can
exactly.
keep my head above water, would I like more money?
Yes.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't? Because,
Yeah,
there's always the visa bill.
exactly.
But at the same time, I have to go with the core. And the
Yeah.
core says, trust it. For me, it's about
Yeah.
sponsors. I know I've got a couple of sponsors coming this year that
That's
will give me
good.
all the backing I need in order to do the
Yeah.
next book and to support the station because I know it's coming. I've laid the groundwork for it, I've laid the platform for it. But you've got to go with that core gut when it says,
Yes.
just because somebody else says you've got to do it that way, if it doesn't feel right to you, don't do it.
Yes.
Right?
I
Even if you
agree.
don't know why, it will
Yes.
be revealed why as time goes by.
I agree with you 100%.
That's what it's all about. So
It
tell people
is.
about this group and how people join it, and also your site and what you are offering and how people get hold of you. And also, I believe that you had a free gift for us as well. So
Yeah,
you
I got a
a
free
free
gift.
ebook.
Yes, I written a few ebook, but this one is more about being the confident self and how do you achieve the dream that you want. Because there's no failure in what we
Mm,
do. It's always a learning. So the ebook will tell you step by step of every single goal that you have or those one that you haven't been able to achieve to look at it step by step so it will help you to get there faster or find a different solution for you to
mm,
actually achieve that as well. So my group that I run is called Yeah the Girls 40 Plus Australian. It is an Australian group. I haven't extended to international yet, but I do have a membership community which you can join that without borders
mhm,
because we have a main group that is open to overseas as well. And that community is separate from Facebook. So you don't have restriction, you have
mm,
directory, and it's so much easier to find the information you need. And I'm sure that the recording of what I'm going to do with Sarah later will be in the guest speaking category as well. And some of the courses that she's doing, I will be in the course session as well. So it's just one click of a button, very easy to join. And I'll put down the website link in there that you can actually follow the process to join. There's even videos for you to go through so you don't make a mistake. I try to make it as simple for everyone as possible. And for me, I do confidence coaching in the area of life, business, and relationship. So if you need someone who been through where you've been through, who understand your language, who can hold space for you or guide you, feel free to contact me. If you search super confidence coaching, I will be on the top of your Google list.
yeah. Superconfidencecoaching.com. And of course, they can get hold of you at info@superconfidencecoaching.com. And of course, you have a link tree
Mm,
where you've got all of your other buttons there and everything else as well. Your YouTube and a whole load of other stuff in there, your LinkedIn, etc. And the link tree is under Super Confidence Coach. Um,
yes.
and of course, this free ebook. I mean, it's absolutely great because what you're offering is and you download it for free, which is fantastic. The secret of being
Yes.
a super confident career woman. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not always about how skilled you are, because we learn skills all the time. When you're confident and you're open and willing to learn, adapt, and adopt, and you're confident in your ability to do that, you're going to learn every day and you're going to apply those lessons into everything that you do. So it isn't about, I've got to come with all the knowledge under my belt. No, you come with what I call generalities, unless you're a neurosurgeon. I want you to have,
Yeah.
your, your focus there. But it's about you coming together with that willingness to absorb knowledge, take the new knowledge and apply it. So as I say, these shows are about listening, learning, and applying, because there's
I
something
agree.
here today with Martha that you have listened to, that you have learned, that you want to apply. And if you want to reach out to her and just start the conversation, I heard you on Sarah's show. Let's have a conversation. How can you help me? That's the way it starts, right? And if you're in Australia, join that group. And the other group is worldwide, right?
Yes, it is. Is the membership community is free and it is worldwide as well. So I invite all of you to come and join us.
Right, and the links will be on her show page. So you come back to her show page, you just put in Martha Mock, M-O-K, into
Mm,
selfdiscoverywisdom.com, and her show will come up. And, it is about her confidence, and we got very confused back in the day where confidence was considered cockiness or
yes,
conceitedness, and it isn't. The confident person exudes an exuberance and an intoxication that you want to be around, right?
yes,
It's not confidence where they make that they're here and they put you there. The
Yes.
confidence is invitational, and it's about
Yes.
sharing, and it's about caring, and it's about bringing up that exuberance in everybody. And that's the
Mm.
kind of confidence you want to find contagious, because that is just something quite illuminating.
It is. A lot of people say confidence is sexy, and it
Mm.
is. When you are at that level that you can vibrate confidence to other people with kindness, compassion, and respect, that's what true confidence is.
Exactly. And the thing about that true confidence, you do not have to become anyone else. That true confidence comes from truly who you are, the abundance and enrichment of who you are. And you're going to resonate to the people that feel you, and those that aren't yet ready to feel you, you won't. Don't worry about that. Just be true to who you are in whatever arena, and you will attract the people that see, hear, and feel you.
I completely agree with you on that. So thank you again for having me on the show. It's just been such a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, right back at you, darling, right back at you. And let, may that dragon year be kind to us, and and just, that confidence. It's okay, folks. Permission, women. Permission to
Mm,
be confident, to have
yes.
self-love, to step into your awesomeness and your flawsomeness. Permission just to be your beautiful divine self. That's all we want
Yes.
you to be. That's all the world wants you to be, right? No other
Mm,
expectation than letting your inner beauty shine out. So thank you,
exactly.
Martha. And to everyone else out there, until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there, and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.